Hello, everyone. I hope you guys have been well. Today, we are going to talk about, as you can see on your platform, uh, business environment and corporate change. I think that is what we want to talk about today. So, business environment, please reflect on business environment of a business. Reflect on what are some of the things which influence business environment, how an environment of the business is created, what are the inputs, uh, the people who work in the organization, how do they influence the environment, the person who is bossing or the person who is the leader, boss or leader, or how do they influence the environment of the business. Anything you would want to say on these lines, we would be thankful. Please reflect on this business environment. What are the inputs? What are the things which influence environment of a business? And try to think about other things, like not just the business but outside the country, the place where the business is placed, and where the business is doing the business. How those areas shape the environment of the past experiences of the people who have been working. Um, when new people join a business, how are they taken on board? If people make mistakes, what is the reaction of the business? Uh, is it that they are they are supported, or it is any attempt is taken to understand why the mistakes were made, or things happen, failures happen. So what type of support system is there in those circumstances? That is what I am thinking. So I think a business environment, so many factors are there which influence the environment of a business. You should you should try to reflect on the other courses which you might have taken. Uh, the cultural dynamics, all various things which you studied in, for example, organizational behavior. Culture is one of them, of course. So the cultural practice in the surroundings, how that influence the environment of the business. Simple things like being on time or being a little bit late. Yeah, those are the things which comes from the culture. Political situation in the country, how stable is the political environment, that is going to influence the business environment. Overall personality of the leadership must have done something on the no, I'm not sharing anything on the screen yet. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you guys. Yeah. So try to think about these things, that how the business environment is, what are the things which influence business environment, how hard it can be for someone to bring change in the environment when they join a new company. Try to link it with your own life. uh, Try to link it with your own life. For example, although we are looking at business environment and corporate culture, but try to think uh, try to think what is the environment of your, for example, house, your home environment. What are the things which influence the environment of a house? For example, financial condition of the home, how rich they are, or how not rich, how poor the family is. That is going to influence the environment, the things they do, how they spend their time, and so on. Same is for the company. How is the financial situation of the company? That is going to influence the environment. Uh, and one thing is linked with another. There are so many connections which you should make in your own time, as you are thinking about it. But let me ask you guys, based on the things which I am trying to say. What do you think? What are some of the things which influence business environment? If we want to change the environment in a business, what are some of the things which we can do? Any thoughts, any suggestions anyone can give? Maybe that would be that would be nice. What are you guys doing? You guys are chatting about your WhatsApp groups. All right, that is also maybe maybe important. Yeah, geographical factors, for example, influence where the place is, where is we spoke about. We try to talk about where the company is located, the country, for example. Yes, of course. Type of leader, yes, yes, Janelle, of course. The type of leader is really going to make or break the business environment. Their personality, they bring their personality. Janelle is using some words, for example, autocrat or democratic. How do they make decisions? Do they take other people's opinion, or they don't really take other people's opinion? Someone want to turn on their mic and maybe I can listen to your voices also. That would be nice. Supply of the resources that business need. Yes, of course. So these are the things which you look at. For example, supply chain management course or production and operation management course. The things you look into that. Human resource management. Yes, for example, uh, what type of people you hire? What are there? Are the people become some people become upset very quickly with small things bother them. Not trying to judge anyone, but just trying to have a conversation if possible. But other people's, they are very thick skinned and they don't get worried very easily. So those are the people who will be coming in the organization, and they are the ones who will be uh, making the business environment, corporate environment, corporate culture, uh, and they will show their personalities uh, when things don't go the way they want it in the organization, or tough time comes. Uh, so there are so many factors which influence business environment. Uh, Actually, this is something which we discuss in chapter number 3 of your book. I hope you guys have started reading the book and so on, and looking at the pre-recorded sessions on Orwelling. So chapter 3 is organizational culture. So when I post the link for that, the pre-recorded session for that, then you should look into that carefully together with this little conversation which we are trying to have. So I'm going to share the screen and see, what are some of the things which your slides are talking about. But don't rely on slides. Rely on book, maybe more than the than the slides. Yeah. So a business environment, corporate culture, organizational classification, for example. What are different type of organizations? How are they structured, top down, or they are linear, or they rely more on step by step type of process, or do they rely on people with more power, whatever they say that happens in the organization, or is it that the best idea wins? Reflect on this. Yeah. So when some new project is taking place, is it the case where everyone is brainstorming equally on equal level? Uh, Even before that, what is the culture of brainstorming? Is it the are people vocal to say their opinion, or they are just uh, are they active or passive? What type of behavior is there when the suggestions are asked? So, for example, I'm asking you guys, what are some of the things which influence business environment? So, is it the case where I'm gaining some cooperation with you guys, like what you guys are thinking, or not? So these things, And so the how they feel, how the worker feel. If the worker feel happy, if the worker feel good, if they feel included, if they like the organization, if they like the environment, if they are taken care of, yeah, only then they are going to help you in these type of things. Otherwise, if they are not, if they think that the company is not treating them fairly, and their stake is not protected, or they are neglected, or those type of negative feelings, if they have true feelings or false feelings, that does not depend, that does not really matter, but it depends on how they are thinking, how the workers are thinking. If they on more deeper level, uh, if we want to talk about this, uh, do they see any benefit in that, whatever is being asked? If the opinion is asked that, okay, give opinion and give suggestions and brainstorm for new ideas, if that is the case, do they see any value? Like, if they give a good idea, how they will be celebrated? What what would they gain? Whatever is the prize, is that prize worthy for them? If the people are mostly motivated by promotion, for example, if you just give them a certificate for participation, it is not really going to help them, because they are looking for a growth opportunity. Yeah. So to understand people, that becomes again very important. All of these, this is very much linked with psychology, as we were talking about in the last week also, I think. Understanding the people, that is very important. uh, People will behave the way they feel like behaving. You want to influence their behavior in a way that it supports a good environment in your business. uh, Worker happiness, one friend is saying, worker happiness is necessary for the successful business. So I think their input should be acknowledged. Yeah. So acknowledgement, very good point, Ivana. Acknowledgement, but how to acknowledge it? You want to acknowledge it in a way which the worker feels that that is the way to acknowledge them. Some people like are happy with a little praise and few good words. Other people say that, we don't want lip service, we want salary increase, or we want a we want a better office. If we are sitting in open space, we need a personal space for ourselves. All of those things. So please think about this. Quite an interesting and reflective piece to ponder upon and think. uh, in the slides, they have some areas: business environment change, identify and explain various classifications, implications for organizational change. They have few things in the slide, but the topic is far bigger than what they are talking about here. I think you would be better off if you would read the chapter number 3, and look at the recordings when I post them, and also reflect yourself. Try to link it with your own observations from the environment of your home, like what are the things which influence the environment of a home, and then from your work experience, if you have any, you can reflect on that. Even if you don't have any work experience, you should be able to reflect, like school environment, university environment. What type of organization do you think your university is? How do they work? uh, are you are you happy, satisfied with the organizational environment of your university? If you are happy or satisfied, what are the things which made you satisfied, and vice versa? If you are not happy, and you don't like the environment of the school or university, what can be changed, why it is not being changed, all of those things. Um, I think you should, whatever experience you have, you should try to reflect on that experience and then try to understand that what are the factors which influence the environment of an organization. Organization can be, home, house, family is an organization. Your the circle of your friends, friendship, that is an organization. Your school, your that is an organization. All of these things are, something which, you know uh, you guys are busy in creating your groups. I think pay attention to what we are trying to do in the in the in the little time we have. So for example, this one you can look at these in more detail. uh, Colonial era, we know that there was a time when colonies were there. UK was, um, had many colonies across the world, how they were, organizing the efforts. Industrial revolution came, age of industrial entrepreneur came, production era came, marketing, relationship era. All of these things you should look into your own time and read beyond the slides and so on. What are the times we are in now? You should reflect on this. What are the times we are in now? This is like maybe technology, fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence, blockchain, internet of things, all of these things, big data. This is the time which we are in. So yes, you should have a little understanding of these 3 4 slides which I passed quickly, but this is again historical information. It is it is it is it is it is uh, um, it is it is not, as we were discussing in the first week. History, yes, it is important, but we need to see what is happening now, and more importantly what the future of things would be. So what would be the future of organizations, for example? I think you should reflect on that. Future of organizations in the future, how the organizations are going to organize themselves, even in current times, how the now, because of this pandemic, companies are organizing themselves a little differently, not trying to use a lot of technologies, and in this they will learn some things which they maybe like, and maybe they will save some cost, and and so on. uh, don't worry about the words which are covered up, Courtney. Yes. So in these times, they will see what are the things which help them save the cost. Yeah, what are the things which help them save the cost. And in the future, even after COVID is gone, maybe they will want to continue with the things which help them in structuring in a way which would minimize their cost. Yeah. So these things you should be thinking about, and then reflect a little deeper that in the future, how do you think organizations will be organized? How these modern organizational environment work? Some of the successful companies, you should look into them. Like, you are familiar with companies like Facebook, Amazon, and so on. You talk about them all the time. A lot of literature is published on these companies, how they organize themselves. So you want to understand, like, how do they organize themselves? Listening to the conversations of the leaders in these companies. Uh, like different things like open door policy, and you need to take appointment when you need to speak with someone, or is it just someone you can just you can just go there and do what you want to be done. uh, so for example, everything would have an organization. It's anything you can think about. Whenever two or more people are combined, there will be some type of organization. So organization does not necessarily mean that the things will be organized. There can be a chaos, and all things going in all directions. So that is also a type of organization. So what is brainstorming? Brainstorming, people giving different type of ideas, and discussion is just leading from the previous comment, and it is taking its own shape and format. That is again, you might say that it is not organized in a way in which you understand organization is, but still it is it is uh, it is organization. And no matter how you want to look at it, no matter how you want to look at it, every type will have its positives and negatives. So as a leader, you want to now think what works for you and what does not work for you. So for example, this is an organization. We have organized our session online, and there is a feature for chat also. But see what is happening in chat. Although I very nicely asked people that don't worry about your WhatsApp group, just focus on what is happening now. But no, some friends are not going to listen, and they will continue whatever they are thinking. I'm not trying to judge them, but now this can now divert some people. Like for example, if I'm speaking, it can divert me. If some people are listening, or they are now looking at the numbers, and they might want to. So what should be done in this type of circumstances? If you don't want to be very rude to people, you want to be nice also, but then when you are nice, people are not listening to you. So as a leader, you need to think about this. So when when you are in an organization, your leader, whoever it is, they ask you nicely to do something, and you're not going to do it. I don't mean you. I mean some people are not going to do that. So when some people don't do it, what it impacts the culture. It is one person, and then it is just the first person, that first person starts something, and then if you don't stop it immediately, then the next person is going to do it, and the next person, and then it can impact the organizational culture, and then it can impact so many other things. But because we are here in an informal environment, so I'm okay if whatever you want to do. I don't really mind that also. But in an organizational setting, these small things, these may seem very small, but they become a very big over a period of time. So please reflect on these things. So yes, you should look into these things: colonial area, industrial, marketing era, relationship, and all of these things, where for example, they are talking about relationship with customers and so on. You guys are familiar with these type of things. For example, service management, client management. Uh, there was a time when businesses were maybe not looking too much into customers. They were thinking that if our product is good and fine, customers will just come and buy. But that is not what the case is. There are so many other factors. You might have a very good product, very good service, but if you don't communicate in the right way, if you don't market your product well, if it don't look good aesthetically, if it don't feel good, if it does not smell good, all of those factors, uh, your touch, your seeing ability, all the senses which we have, if it is not at par with the sensibilities which you want to enjoy, then the customer is not going to maybe might not want your product. If you would have paid attention to these sensibilities, then maybe they would have paid more attention. So all these things you need to think about as you reflect on business environment, organizational environment, corporate culture, and all of these things. There is a short case which I have posted on Orwelly. You can download it and read it in your own time. Some clips are there. Please watch them. There are many companies, which you can study. I already asked you to do some studies on these companies like Facebook and Amazon. These famous companies. They are doing very well. So there must be some reason that they are. Alibaba is again another company, because we should take some companies from other countries outside of US. So Alibaba again is extremely wonderful company, and there are so many other companies. So you don't have to look at the companies which I am telling you. You should look at the companies which you like and which you admire. It can be any company. It can be a local company. Maybe you like Grace Kennedy. So you should read in detail, try to read between the lines in the interviews which you listen on TV, on YouTube. Nowadays you can find anything on YouTube. The lectures are there in terms of their in terms of how they lead. What are the things they what are the things they what are the things they they want to do. Yeah. So pick any company which you like. It can be Toyota, it can be Honda, it can be Porsche. Any company which you like, which you appreciate. Any company, and then try to understand what are the things which they did right, which that company did right, which helped them to create an environment in the business which made them successful. You can also look at some companies which maybe were successful back in the day, but they are not successful anymore. We gave a couple of examples in the last week live interaction when we were meeting. I think it was the first day of the semester. Yes. So in that we gave some examples of the companies which maybe are not good enough, or not doing, or maybe they were good back in the day, but they could not contain their or maintain their position. Companies like Nokia and so on. Now they still are doing pretty. Nokia is still pretty good, but what I'm trying to say that uh, they missed some opportunities. If they would have followed those, they might be number one right now, or number two, if not number one. So these things I think you should look into. So please read that posting on Yahoo if you have time, and then try to fill up this uh, this screen. What are the things Yahoo did right? What are the things Yahoo did not do right? And again, you don't have to look at Yahoo per se. Uh, it is good if you can, but you should look into other companies also. Don't just stick to what are the things being posted on the website. And the classification of different organizations. Yeah, let's look at them. So there are different classifications, of course. In these slides, they are looking at Morgan's identification of organizational metaphor. These are the 8 different types, or whatever you want to call them. So you would have to go in depth. Again, this is chapter number 3. So once I make the posting for chapter 3 on Orwell, I think that would be in 2 weeks' time, I think. So read the book chapter 3, listen to that recording for chapter 3, which will be posted. Uh, and also do your own studies, and also these organizations which you are familiar with, you should reflect on that, like what type of organization it is, how do they behave. We were talking about your own environment, your own home, house, your own. Oh, so once you are get familiar with these different types, you should reflect that what type of metaphor is your is your home organized as, or uh, your based on your work experience, if you had any, you can also reflect on them. So first one they are looking at, for example, is the machine one. Machine, organization which is operating like a machine. So please reflect on this machine and try to imagine a machine, how the machine works. Machine works in a very step by step type of approach. First step, second step, everything is very much organized. If you break the flow in a machine, then if you take out one part from a machine, then whole machine can, it can impact whole machine. It has to be a very step by step. It should be very, it should work uh, as a method, if I can say. There should be a method in the machine. It can't be all over the place. So that is, so any organization which is working in that fashion, step by step approach, you can say that that organization is working as a as a as a machine. So for example, this one, main beliefs of organizations which are working as a machine. So if you look at, for example, number one, labor should be divided into specific job roles. See, specific job roles. So everything is very specific, uh, very specified jobs are there, very specified job roles are there. Everything is documented very nicely and so on. So that would make it as a as a as a machine. So for example, this one, each employee should have one line manager. Why one line manager? Because if you have multiple people, then it 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 can the method can break, because you might report to line manager number 2, and line manager 1 is not aware of that, and vice versa. So if you just have one line manager, then if you report, the person will know. If you did not report, the person will know that you did not report. Yeah. So try to link it with your other courses, the information which you gained in other courses. As I'm talking about it, a lot of other courses are coming in my mind, but I want you to reflect in your own time and think about these. For every metaphor, there will be some assumptions that, there must be some guiding rules which should be there for it to function. For example, resistance to change needs to be managed. Resistance to change needs to be managed. So in any and every change situation, either it is personal change in your personal private life, or is it in an organization, there is always going to be some type of resistance. Uh, as a matter of fact, let me say that if there is if there is no resistance, then maybe it is not change. I was just thinking about it last night. Uh, that some people say that, oh, we are trying to change, and they are very easily making that change. Yes, that might be a change. I'm not saying that that is not a change, but that change is not big enough or worthwhile. It is coming very easy. So if you are and we spoke about it, like habits and all of those things in the pre-recorded session, I think, which you must have heard by now. So please reflect on that. So reflect on this line: resistance to change needs to be managed. So there will be a change, there will be a resistance whenever the change is there. So in a machine environment, when the organization is working as a machine, then that in that environment, the basic assumption is that it needs to be managed. What is the meaning of that? Please reflect on that. What is the meaning of managing the resistance? So resistance will come. So you expect, you first of all, you don't get worried when the resistance is going to come. When people tell you that no, they are not going to do the thing the way you have asked them to do, and of course the resistance is there, people are not liking what you are proposing, you should always already would should have imagined that type of situation and try to have your own strategy, your own whatever you, the whatever way you have to manage that 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 situation. So that is how you would do it. So by for example, there are so many techniques. So the one I am mentioning is, you are just pre-planning. So before the resistance comes, you just pre-plan, you just anticipate what type of resistance can come in this type of situation and how you would want to manage it. Yeah, so these type of things you would want to think about. And then, every metaphor, let me go back and show you, these are the different metaphors. Organizations working as machine, organizations working as organisms, organizations working as brain. As a matter of fact, let me just use this slide and quickly talk about these ones, and then you can read more on this. And don't worry if something, although it is not complicated at all, but if something feels a little bit difficult, don't worry about it. Listen to these things which I am saying. Read the chapter 3. Look at the pre-recorded session for chapter 3 when I post it. And after that, if you still don't understand, feel free to write me an email, and we can have a conversation on that. What is bothering you, or what is not clear. But anyways, so machine we spoke about. Let's talk about organisms. So organisms, how do they function? They are very fluid. They are agile. They go from one place to another. So look at the difference. One is machine, step by step, and so on. Organism, that would be totally different. Brain, learning. So our organization which is dependent on learning, you can look into, for example, knowledge management. Yeah, learning, it gives a lot of merit to learning something new. So let me ask you guys, how do you learn? How did you learn anything in your life? Whatever you know, how did you learn that? You maybe learned it by doing it, maybe doing it again and again. Maybe first time you did it, you are not very good. Second time, you were a little better. Third time, fourth time, and you improved. You learned over a period of time. Maybe you learned by observing other people. Maybe you learned by, just like they say, different people learn differently. Some people learn by seeing, some people learn by doing, some people learn by reading, observing, and so on and so forth. So that type of environment, organizational metaphor can be there. That was number 3. Cultures, norms, we spoke about it earlier a little bit when I was speaking about cultures and how they can be linked. Political systems, power, conflict, this is very interesting. Very interesting. Political system. Politics. So we say that politics, we should stay away from politics at work and so on. But politics is something which is even in the organization, which are not very political, in the sense that they have different groups which are maintaining or trying to save their self-interest within the organization. For example, some companies would have unions and so on. But what I was trying to say earlier is, the companies which do not have unions and so on, they are also political in one way or another, because think about it. If if you have a boss which is, as one friend was talking about, being autocratic and democratic and those type of things in the chat. One friend was talking about these things, these terminologies. So if the boss is not listening to you, if you have some type of political domain working in the organization, if you use it, you might be able to bring across your point of view to the to the company, to the organization. On the other hand, if you don't have that type of influence, then you might not be able to do that. But it is not just the negative side of this. Like, some people might think that that is maybe wrong, because the boss is asking us to do something. We should do as he desires, whatever he's asking us to do in the work environment. But sometimes people have very good ideas, very interesting ideas, which, if tried or if tested, they might help the company. So in that spirit, I was talking that you, of course, you want to use political metaphor or political systems in the benefit of the company. You can do that also. But generally speaking, that does not come in our mind. Even when you will read the book chapter, this is not how they will talk about it. They will maybe talk about that, political environment, and people misusing it. What the point I was trying to make is that you can use it in the positive, in the betterment of the company also. uh, Political system. So in the political system, there will be people who have power, people who have influence. They will be able to maybe lead the things the way they want. Where power comes from, power can come from their designation, their job title. It can come from there, and it can also come from other things, like maybe they are well respected in the organization because of their etiquette, because of the care they have for other people, because just because maybe they have memorized all the names and they know people by name, and whenever they meet those people, they ask them, how are you doing, your how is your dad, you were no, I did not see you yesterday, where were you, and so on. These type of things, a little, you would see these type of characters in the organizations, and these type of things are, if they are done in a genuine way, they create a lot of likability of the person who is doing that. Yeah. So uh, so when we like people, we tend to do the things which they ask us as much as we can. And when we dislike people, even if we can do something, we will not going to do that thing for them, because we don't like them. So respect factor, that can also be, you can, power can come from there also. So it is not just, there are so many different domains to that. uh, Prisons trapped by mindset, uh, flux and transformation, adaptation and change. That is again very interesting one. Transformation, how transformation comes, please reflect on that. Transformation, when someone says you're going to transform the organization, or you are going to we're going to transform the country, or some company, or how transformation happens. Is transformation something which happens in a step by step way? Is that the case? Please reflect on that. Or is transformation something which happens because of some triggers, and some things happen in the company which are not necessarily step by step? Please try to link this one with the machines were something which were happening step by step, and so on. Transformation, on the other hand, in transformation, order naturally emerges out of chaos, for example. So in transformation, it naturally emerge from chaos. Chaos, what is chaos? Disorder. From disorder, it emerges. So 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 it would be nice if you can, reflect on different type of companies which you are aware of, from your experience or observation. Local companies, international companies, maybe you did some coursework or some project in some other courses which made you familiar of some companies, and try to, once you have had a little hang of these different types of metaphors, try to identify what type of organization it is. all of you guys are familiar with the University of the West Indies, yes. So let me ask you, what type of organization is University of the West Indies? And we did not had a lot of, you guys did not speak much today, so I think this is a chance to have a little conversation maybe. So what do you guys think if I ask you, what type of organization or business environment or corporate culture, or what type of environment is there in UV? What is your experience? Is it step by step? Is it orderly? Is it disorderly? Is it politically influenced? Do you think it is going through some big transformation? It is because you guys see that UV is improving its ranking in various international the companies which rank UV is improving its ranking. So if I ask you, what are you going to say? Anyone want to turn on their mic and maybe say a couple of lines if possible? Okay, Anita is saying a mixture of everything. All right, mixture of everything. So if someone can elaborate on that mixture of, Roxanne is agreeing with that mixture of everything. So maybe it depends on department to department, and very interesting. So Anila is saying it is a country by itself. Yeah, it is a, so in the country it has all different type of things. So are there any don man in the country? who are the who are the dons in the country, and who are the nice people, and who are the, yeah, so all of those things, people who harass you, people who uh, uh, yeah, different type of issues, different type of, yeah. So so if you want to change the environment of this little country UV, what are the things which needs to be done? What are your suggestions? Because you are the stakeholders. If the environment of UV needs to be changed, what are two, three major key things which you think needs to be done? What are your ideas? Because it is easy to easy to critique, but the idea is that to what are the steps which can be taken to improve the business environment. And that was essentially what the topic for today was. So for example, better communication skills, very very good, very important point, extremely important point. Communication is not timely. It comes very late. The decisions are made at the last minute. Procrastination, not just the everyone, like even look at, ask yourself, as stakeholders of UV, do you do the things early, or you also procrastinate in doing whatever you do? So maybe majority of us procrastinate. So that is the reflection which is being shown, how the university is being run. In some in maybe the top level, they are working hard, but by the time the things roll down to different campuses, and then different faculties and different departments and programs, the 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 effort is reduced and reduced and reduced. So one of the things is, for example, uh, yeah, so for example, Shelby is saying that we can't really believe, miscellaneous fee, that why miscellaneous fee? We are doing online sessions and everything, so why we should pay miscellaneous fee? So university somehow, maybe should have, what they should have done is, they should have communicated this to the stakeholders, that the reason for for charging these miscellaneous fees are these are the reasons, and so on, to make them in to bring them into confidence, and so on. uh, as Mark is saying, it goes back to communication. So in change, you will see this a lot. Communication is something which, if it is done in a timely manner, in the right way, in the way which people want to be communicated in. So for example, you guys were creating your your WhatsApp group and so on. Yes, right? So what is that? That is communication. So you guys felt felt a need for creating a WhatsApp group. I don't know why, because I trust that if you are following the container folder and following your email and stuff, you don't really need to create a WhatsApp group. But no problem in that. If that makes you happy and you are more comfortable in in that type of creation, yes, there is no problem in that. Maybe because you are saying that, well, we use WhatsApp all the time, so all the information should come in there. Why not? And you have WhatsApp group for so many things, coming from UV for various courses and so on. So those type of things you can reflect on. Uh, okay, so political system, for example. So look into these. I tried to discuss them as much as as I could. So for example, main beliefs in political, when the organization is working as a political domain, or using political metaphor, you cannot avoid the politics of the organization. That was the point which I was trying to make earlier, that even the organizations where there are no unions and no nothing like that, still there are some type of politics being run. And politics can be simple thing like this person like that person, and that person like that person, and these two people don't like those two people. This is also politics. So you can please think about these things. So we spoke about organizations and politics, organization and as organisms, living adapting system. Reflect on this living adaptive systems, as we spoke a while ago, that how do I asked you the question, how do organisms live? They are very agile. They go, they roam about all the places. It is kind of unlike a machine, which is a step by step, highly innovative. Yeah, innovation is there. New idea development is there, because there is no step by step. There is some step by step method also, but generally speaking, uh, the ideas are taken from all over. Uh, the main belief, for example, is that there is no one best way. So on the other hand, when the political metaphor is being used in the organization, when that is there, uh, then the political people who have political influence, they would say that do the thing the way I am asking you to do it like this. On the other hand, when your organization is working as an organism, there is no one best way. uh, different people have their own, just like this example of WhatsApp group. So for some people, WhatsApp group works fine. For some other people, they prefer emails. Other people, they prefer postings and so on. So different different ideas are here. And again, every metaphor would have its own advantages and disadvantages, which you can read in detail in the book and so on. We spoke about these little thing, transformation and so on. Here is a little exercise. You can do it. If you we try to do it for UV, for example, what type of metaphor you think UV is. So you can do it for other companies. You can do it your own organization, your own home. I would say try it with your. Once you read the basics of these different metaphors, what they stand for, because sometimes when you are just listening to it, it don't make sense. But trust me, it is very easy. You just have to sit down and spend maybe half an hour, 40 minutes reading the definitions of this. If you don't want to start with the book, just run a Google search. Just type organization as machine metaphor, organization as political metaphor, organization as transformation metaphor, and just read 2 3 paragraphs posted on any link which comes up, which you like and comes up. Yeah, and try to reflect on that. It's pretty basic and pretty easy. And then as you develop a little bit more understanding, then you can read the book chapter, and with the passage of time you will be able to maybe uh, uh, maybe identify, for example, uh, Facebook is using this metaphor uh, to run their organization and so on. But many times, as one of our friends said, that when we were talking about UV, she said that it's all over, it's everything. So even in an organization, this can happen, that this can happen, that the if especially if it is a bigger organization, this can definitely happen, that uh, one department is like this and the other department is like that. And especially as you talk about other things, like you do the course international business management. So it's the same big business, multinational, but it is spread across geographies. In different countries it is available. So when it is in different countries, uh, the way the organization is managed, it can be different. So in one territory it can be using political metaphor, and in another country it might have the metaphor of a machine. But overall, when you sit in the corporate board, the top leadership, they generally have one they generally have one idea how they want to run. But what happens as the information trickle down, uh, the things become challenging and challenging and challenging and different. And again, the point which was made about communication is very relevant, because from the top down it is not communicated in the right way, or even if it is communicated, the people on which the communication happens, they think that it is not necessary. They don't buy into that. So the top leadership of UV, for example, can tell the Mona campus that this is how you should run it, and the principals and the deputy principals and the top and the deans, they can agree with that. But once they want to implement that, who are the people who are going to implement that thing? So for example, there can be some protocol established by the top leadership going down the deans and so on. But who is it is me and you who are who are it is me and you who are going to implement the things. uh, I am implementing something from my side. You guys are cooperating in that implementation and so on. So we are equally part of the game. So when so 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 I lost train of my thought. So what I was trying to say is that communication is quite a challenging thing. You might communicate the thing and you say, okay, I have told the people whatever I wanted to tell. They might not do the thing as you told them. It is a possibility. So you might say, I communicated, I told them that this is how it should be done. But they might not buy into that. They might not feel that it is necessary. They might have different ideas. So when you are planning and when you are creating your strategy, whatever you wanted to communicate, in that time you did not take those people into confidence, so they don't feel a part of that decision making. When they don't feel a part of that decision making, then when the time comes to carry out that decision, they are not going to support it, because they don't feel they are part. they feel that they feel that they feel that they are just thrashed upon, and so on, just like you guys are forcing me to stop the session. Okay, all right. So these are some of the things which you should look into. Please start looking at chapter number 3, organizational change, that details these things which we tried to talk about. And when I post the pre-recorded session for chapter number 3, organizational change, in 1 week or 2 weeks, watch that. But by that time, just start thinking about these things, these different metaphors. Try to link it with your understanding. Maybe run a Google search or run a YouTube search. Try to identify what is what, and you should be